Welcome to another ENGL 101 explainer. Now that you are about to post your narrative essay rough draft, it's time to consider what you'll be doing as a peer editor. Open the Peer Editing Digitally document and follow along as this video explains your role and some of the specific things you'll be seeing and commenting on as you peer edit your classmates' narrative essay rough drafts. Our roadmap for today covers digital comments, grammar and mechanics, formatting dialogue, immersive stories, guiding principles, and finally, effective feedback techniques. Section 1. Digital comments and your editing tools. We will be working inside Microsoft Word. To leave a note for your classmate, simply highlight the specific text you want to address. Once the text is highlighted, press Ctrl plus Alt plus M on your keyboard. This shortcut creates a comment box right in the right margin of the document. This is where you will type out your observations and suggestions for the writer, keeping your feedback organized and tethered directly to their words. Section 2. Grammar and mechanics and rough draft issues. While reading, you will encounter sentence-level errors that need your attention. Let's look at two frequent issues. First, examine the comma splice example. The sound of the doorbell echoed through the house, I didn't move. A comma alone cannot join two independent clauses. You will need to flag structural issues like this. Below that, we see a fused sentence, often called a run-on. I now realize why they did what they did. They had to protect themselves. Here, independent clauses run together without punctuation. Pointing these out helps the writer clarify their thoughts. You should also keep an eye out for a few other items on the mechanical checklist. Watch out for tense shifts, like jumping from past to present tense in the same scene. Check for sentence fragments, such as without even saying goodbye. Make sure to check punctuation after introductory phrases, ensure pronoun-antecedent agreement, and verify subject-verb agreement. Finally, remind your peers that the second-person point of view, using the word you, should not be used in formal narrative essays unless it appears inside dialogue. Section 3. Formatting narrative dialogue. Since narratives rely on conversations, correct formatting is crucial. Let's look at this excerpt from Ernest Hemingway's Hills Like White Elephants, which is provided in your digital editing document. Observe how the text is arranged on the page, paying close attention to the punctuation inside the quotation marks and the dialogue tag that follows. From that Hemingway excerpt, we can pull two concrete formatting rules you need to enforce. First, the writer must start a new paragraph every time the speaker changes. Second, keep a character's physical actions separate from other characters' actions by placing them within the same paragraph as their own spoken dialogue. If a writer mixes two different characters' words or actions in a single paragraph, use your marginal comments to suggest a paragraph break. Section 4. Building immersive stories. Beyond the mechanical and grammatical details in the peer editing digitally document, as a peer editor, you should spend your time helping each writer build a vivid, immersive story. At this early stage in your writing course, your primary job isn't to fix the draft, but to act as a mirror, showing the writer where their story feels alive and where it feels hazy. Focus on showing versus telling. Identify places where the writer summarizes events, for example, I felt terrified, instead of using sensory details, dialogue, or action to build the scene. The narrative arc. Look for the structural backbone of the story. Pinpoint the inciting incident, what sets the story in motion, and the climax, the moment of highest tension. Section 5. Guiding principles and details. Significance, or the so what. Make sure the essay isn't just a list of consecutive events. The writer needs to imply the deeper meaning or personal realization of the story so the reader can interpret it. Pacing and focus. Mark areas where the writer spends too long on unimportant details or, conversely, rushes through the most dramatic, crucial moments of the story. Section 6. Reader-based feedback techniques. Because narrative essays are highly personal, giving feedback requires a direct but generous approach. Try using any of these reader-based techniques. Movie of the mind. Describe exactly what you see as you read. Tell the writer where the movie in your head is vivid and where the screen suddenly goes blank or blurry. The say-back method. Summarize what you believe the core conflict and ultimate meaning of the story are. This helps the writer see if their intended message is actually coming through. Or praise specific moments. Highlight the exact lines, images, or pieces of dialogue that made you feel an emotion or perfectly captured a character. Ultimately, because you are still learning how to peer edit and to draft yourself, the act of analyzing and critiquing should actively sharpen your own understanding of the narrative essay. You should gain as much from looking at someone else's draft as you will get from getting feedback on your own.